Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to our 7th Webisode, Nerdy Boys Reviews. I'm Christian.
I'm Scott.
And we're the Nerdy Boys Reviews. So, this episode we're going to talk all about Arrow. If you haven't seen it, go watch it now. Stop immediately. We're going to spoil everything, and it was fantastic. Everything. So, let's just go over the story a little bit of this episode.
So, the overall story was mainly about Count Vertigo. He returns, and basically, Oliver's battling against him.
Yeah, it's a new Count Vertigo. Different from last season. It's more of one from the comic book, same name of the guy and everything. So that's something that's exciting. He had a lot more. He was very charismatic. He portrayed a really good Count Vertigo, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know the name of the actor, but he also plays I think like a Russian mob gangster in the show Prison Break that I also watch, or used to watch. It's over now, but he's really good at playing villains in that mob type mentality character.
Yeah.
I don't know his name offhand, but he's a really good actor.
So that's the story. The story wasn't too important. It's just another villain trying to take out Oliver, or not Oliver, but Green Arrow. So let's do like a kind of character overview. So let's talk about Oliver in this episode.
Yeah, Oliver, he when he encounters the Count, something weird happens. That he hits him with vertigo, and it has like the same kind of effect that you see with the Scarecrow.
Right.
And you see like your worst fears. And when that happens, Oliver sees himself.
Yeah, and that's kind of interesting. Like why would he be afraid of himself, kind of thing. But it really just shows like one of the main themes of this episode was like you can't go by more than one name, and it's actually said in that in that show, in this episode, they say a man can't go by more than one name. So it's like he's kind of like at this crossroads of like, is he gonna be Oliver Queen, or is he gonna be Green Arrow? And that plays a role kind of in what happens with Queen Consolidated too. Yeah,
in this episode, he's attempting to get his company back. He portrays that he wants to take it back over, to help the city out, and then because that was his like family's legacy too. So it's pretty important to him.
Yeah.
So in this episode, you see an emerging dynamic between Oliver and Felicity,
right?
That you kind of see coming for a while.
Yeah.
So what happened?
I mean, from just last season, you kind of saw, where he kind of like was like, Slade doesn't know this, but I love you. But like it was kind of like a ploy too to get to Slade.
Yeah.
And like I liked that explanation a lot better. But in this episode, Diggle was kind of like, you can lie to everybody else, but you can't lie to yourself. Like, you love her, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So he finally asks her out. They go to dinner. They get blown up, kind of. And that's
poor Oliver, man.
I like that because it kind of crushes, the whole idea that they could work it out. Very shortly after they try to get it, because some of the relationship aspects I'm not a fan of in the show. Like they don't really work together. So. Yeah,
exactly. Just kind of going over some more characters. So, for you guys that don't know, Roy Harper is Arsenal, also known as like Red Arrow.
Red Arrow, Speedy, whatever you want to call him.
But in this show, I think it was officially like it wasn't announced in the episode.
But I think
But like
they're going by Arsenal.
But like in the casting notes, it lists him as Roy Harper / Arsenal.
Right, and his costume looks really good.
And I'm a big fan of sidekicks. I don't know about everybody else, but like, you know, most people don't like sidekicks. But like, I'm a big fan of sidekicks, and so far I'm a very big fan of Arsenal.
Mm-hmm.
I like Robin. I don't know. Like I said, I'm a fan of sidekicks. I like them. You know, they always outgrow their role of sidekick and become something more. So it's always nice to see that.
Yeah, I thought Arsenal looked really good. I thought his stunts were really good looking, like his acrobatics and everything. Like, he looked really good, and he's a really good shot, surprisingly already.
Yeah.
So,
and like, you see him take out. I don't know who. I don't even think the guy had any significance. It was just like a lackey, pretty much. He just took out. You know, he's like, oh, he's like talking to Arrow, and he's like, oh, well, what are you waiting for? And all of a sudden, Arsenal appears, pretty much kicks his ass, and she's like, I was waiting for my partner.
Yeah.
Which is actually a pretty big no when he announces that he's playing his partner, you know?
Yeah, you're going to see Roy Harper really in a great role this year. You know, not much notes on Thea yet, but, you know, we'll see how that dynamic comes up again.
Yeah, so on to the next pretty big storyline in this episode was the press conference for the Arrow, basically thanking him and listing him as the hero of the city.
He works with the police now. He's not an enemy of the police anymore.
Yeah, and like Lieutenant, he disbanded the task force that was trying to hunt him down.
Mm-hmm. And like the lieutenant actually played a pretty big role in this episode as far as the dynamic with Oliver and Diggle. You know, because he saw the lieutenant risking his life, kind of thing. You know, he almost died, so and Diggle has a baby on the way, so he kind of use that as his way of, pushing Diggle to the back seat in a way.
Yeah, and then, like, you have some flashback sequences in this episode talking about his time in Hong Kong.
Right.
And you meet his handlers, what are their names?
Well,
Tatsu.
Yeah.
Yashimaru.
Yashimaru.
Yes.
So,
they're hard to pronounce.
Japanese, not Chinese.
No.
That was the important part. No. But yeah, you see Amanda Waller again, a.k.a. Mockingbird, whatever you want to call her. She's a B word. And, she's trying to keep Oliver in the city, and, like, he doesn't care if he dies or lives at that point. So instead, she tries to appeal to his humanity, sticks him with a family, and if he leaves, he's going to kill their kid. Essentially, the mom in that family, and the wife, is Katana.
Yeah.
So...
Which, for you guys don't know, is part of Oliver's team when he builds the Outsiders team.
Yeah, so that's exciting stuff, I like Katana a lot. I want to see what they do with her costume.
Yeah.
I think that'll be cool.
Basically what you need to know is she's a sword-wielding badass.
Yeah, she's cool. I mean, they're not going to stick to her perfect image from the comic books, but they're going to have a lot of good material, I think, for her.
So the last theme from like the storyline in this episode was Sarah, aka Canary, returns.
Yeah, she comes back, starts kicking some butt. Really no explanation for it.
Yeah, like she doesn't say why she's even there.
Interestingly enough, Oliver asks her, "Are you staying for good this time?" She says, "We'll see." And we saw.
Yeah, we saw, definitely.
Yeah, so shocking ending. She gets shot down with 3 arrows, like pretty much straight to the heart. Falls out the building, lands right in front of her sister Laurel.
Yeah.
You don't see who did it, and obviously it wasn't Green Arrow or Arsenal, but
yeah. On to some Easter eggs of this episode. We had already mentioned Katana, which is, I try to pronounce her name as Tatsu
Yashimaru or something.
Yeah, Yashashiro or some shit like that. What were some Easter eggs that you saw?
In the boxing arena, one of the boxers went by the name Wildcat, and he's a common villain in DC Comics. And another thing from the boxing match, you saw an advertisement for, well, I don't know if it was advertisement, but a banner for Ferris Air, or Ferris Air Base, which is the air base owned by Carol Ferris' dad, that Hal Jordan trains at, and Hal Jordan is Green Lantern. That just introduces another kind of thing. We've already talked before about how you're not going to see too many kind of powers in this, but we'll talk about that kind of at the end of this video too.
Yeah. So in this episode, you meet Ray Parker, which is awesome. You know, he's also
Ray Palmer.
Oh, Palmer?
Pretty sure his last name is Palmer.
Parker. Either way, it's Adam from the Justice League.
The Atom.
The Atom.
The Atom.
Awesome. This is exciting news.
Yeah.
Why is it exciting?
It's. I mean, like I was just talking about with Green Lantern. You know, like you know, it's not a power show, but the Atom, you know, he has powers.
Yeah,
so,
he has the ability to shrink objects.
Right, and essentially in this episode, he's just trying to take over Queen Consolidated. He's a very, very charismatic guy. You know, I like the actor so far. You know,
yeah.
I think it's cool. And then he shows you Star City. I was like, woo! That was exciting to me because that's what the name of the city is in the comic book, is Star City that Green Arrow lives in.
It's kind of weird that they even changed the name of the city in the first place, but it's all right.
Yeah.
So I think there's 2 more Easter eggs in this show, and that would have to do with you know, and we already mentioned them. Count Vertigo is like he's portrayed more as the actual Count Vertigo from the comic books.
Right.
He may not act exactly like him, but you know, it's pretty spot on. And then you know, there's the whole Laurel, you know, seeing her sister die, and you know, she's probably gonna become a Canary.
Yeah, in the comic books, Laurel Dinah Lance is the Black Canary. She's the one. She marries Oliver Queen and everything. So it's It's gonna be interesting. You know, I think she's gonna become the new Black Canary.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. So I mean,
as far as Count Vertigo, the Ferris sign, and Atom, you know, now you have this new dynamic because in the comic books, Vertigo has powers, and in the show they gave him a drug. In the comic books, pretty much he had something with his inner ear that as a kid he got vertigo, but then he learned how to control it and give it to make it so other people got vertigo, so everything turned upside down and everything, and they got all wimpy wobbly like you saw Oliver Queen doing in this episode. But you know, they give it to him in the form of a drug now. So you wonder if they're going to have the Atom have real powers, or if they do that, then it opens up the door for Green Lantern too.
Yeah, but I mean, they already pretty much said that they probably weren't going to have like superpowers. So I fully expect some sort of device to be made so he'll be able to, you know, have his powers. Something
like that, or they'll just use those introductions as a way to cross over those characters into the Flash or something.
So we just want to make some predictions for what might happen later in the show. So there's the looming question of, you know, who killed Canary, who killed Sarah.
Yeah. Who killed Sarah?
I mean, my personal prediction is Malcolm Merlyn. I mean,
I think Ra's al Ghul hired someone to kill her or something. Like, you don't really know why she came back. You know, she left with Nyssa, who is one of Ra's al Ghul's daughters. But there's really very little to no explanation why she's back in Starling City.
Yeah.
So then you just, you know, when she gets killed, it's like you want to know what happened in her time away and all this stuff. And they've already announced that Ra's al Ghul is the big bad, so to say, as of this season. So.
Yep. Another prediction for that, I'm definitely going to go with the second prediction, is that it was Ra's al Ghul himself. Because eventually you're going to have to meet him. And what better way to meet him than him killing somebody that Oliver really cares about?
Right.
You know, it definitely would.
Could be just a message to Oliver Queen.
Exactly. That's pretty much my whole thinking behind it. Another prediction is in this episode, you see Oliver push Diggle aside, so to speak. You know, he's basically saying, you know, you have a baby on the way, so it's my call. You're not going into action with me. And, you know, Diggle's really upset. He's like, dude, without me, you would have died 10 times over. And that's pretty much an exact quote from them. You know, he feels that, you know, he's had Oliver's back through this crusade for like 2 years now. And it earns him the right to, you know, make this decision himself. But Oliver's just shut him down and was like, this, just like you said, this is my crusade, so it's my call.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna shut down Diggle completely because he's a really strong character in the show.
Yeah.
Like, they might just have him take a back seat and start working more with Felicity or doing recon kind of stuff, or just things like that, which still in a way puts him at risk. Because how better to target the Green Arrow besides his friends.
Yeah, exactly.
As you've already seen with Sarah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be a little bit more stronger than that, personally. I think he's going to fade out a lot more because, his at the end of, towards the end of the episode, his ex-wife / girlfriend is kind of hard to even tell where they're at.
Yeah.
Has his baby, and, from what I hear from, friends that have had kids, just real life personal experiences, is that, when you have a kid, it changes everything in your life, and it focuses everything in life, becomes just straight about your children.
Mm-hmm.
So it's and at the end of the episode, Diggle is forgiving Oliver, he doesn't care anymore, he understands why he did it, and that's my logic behind he's gonna fade out as a character. I predict.
Yeah, I still think he'll play a pretty big role, but we'll have to see.
Yep, and then our last prediction is about Felicity, and who do you think she's going to end up with? Because, on one hand, she loves Oliver, and you see that dynamic happen, and then get just shut down, and, they kiss, and then they got shut down.
Yeah.
And, but in the episode, you also see her, flirting with Ray Palmer.
She starts building some chemistry there.
Yeah.
So
there's definitely some flirting, and
even though she tries to shut him down, when she gets shut down by Oliver over and over, you're gonna see her looking for something new.
Yeah, exactly.
And what better than the other exec for Queen Consolidated?
Yeah, right.
So
just going after all the billionaires, man.
Yeah.
It's the whole world out there.
One piece of news too. They talk about Pied Piper showing up in this season of Arrow, and Pied Piper is one of the few openly gay characters in DC Comics. So maybe they're just trying to open up to a new market or whatever. But he's a little rogue kind of guy. He's more arrows, So it'll be interesting to see what they do with him too.
Yep. I don't have anything else. What about you?
That's it for today. So this was our review of Arrow, Episode 1, Season 3, Episode 1.
So if you like our episode, please like and share our episode. If you have comments, suggestions, or anything of the sort, leave it in the comment section below. As always, thank you guys for watching.
Yeah, I'm Christian.
I'm Scott.
And this is Nerdy Boys Reviews. Stay nerdy, boys!